Hi everyone, I hope you're okay. This guys will be the first video of me answering the 2022 IEP November Mathematics Paper 1 examination. Uh, in this video, I will cover both question 1 and 2. And please note that guys, there will be 6 videos. No, rather, there will be 9 videos following this one, right? Uh, since the paper has 12 questions, I think I'll do question 1 and 2 in one video, and then the financial maths part in another video as well. Yeah, I'll just do that now. Uh, Please note that guys, if you click the link on the description, you'll find the full memorandum. It will give you it will direct you straight rather to the playlist with the full memorandum. Ne? You can download the question paper, answer the questions with me. If there are things you're not sure about, please raise your hand. I'll definitely come and answer you. Okay. Question 1. I'm supposed to solve x and leave my answer into one decimal place if necessary. I have two things multiplied and the answer is 0. For this one, guys, it's so simple. I know that it's either the first thing, 3x minus 1 is equal to 0, or 4 minus x is the one which is equal to 0. Then I'll have 3x is equal to 1. Then x is 1 over 3. Or if I take the x to the other side, it will be positive. Then x is just equal to 4. Okay, then secondly, I'm supposed to solve x. X is at the exponent. The first thing I need to do, I must try to get my bases to be the same. If I cannot do that, I must introduce logs both sides. So I'll simply have the log of 2 to the power 3x is equal to log 7. Why am I introducing logs? Because I cannot get the bases to be the same. Are you together? There's a rule that I can use to bring down the exponent. It is 3. I'll have 3x times log 2 is equal to log 7, and then 3x is equal to log 7 all divided by log 2. If I have something like this, log a all over log b, this thing can be written as log a base b. So in this case, I can have 3x is equal to log 7 base 2. Whenever I divide both sides by 1 over 3, I'll simply have x to be equal to 1 over 3 multiplied by log 7 base 2, which is equals to, let me punch my calculator, 1 over 3 multiplied by log 7 base 2. I'll simply get 0.9 because I was told to round off to one decimal place now. Okay, number 3, I'm supposed to solve the inequality there. The first thing I need to do is to remove the brackets. I'll simply have x squared minus x, and then I must bring the 20 to the other side so that my inequality will be in standard form. I'll have negative 20 is less than 0. The next step I need to do is to factorize. Why do I need to factorize? Because I want to find my critical values. I want the factors of 20. That's when I subtract will give me 1. That's 5 and 4. Obviously, the bigger sign will take the sign of the middle term. I'll have minus and plus here. And then my critical values, x will be equal to 5 and x will be equal to negative 4. After finding my critical values, I must just indicate them on my number line of negative 4 and 5. Né? Both of them are not included because you don't have an equal sign over there. Since guys, both the numbers in front of x are positive ones, that means they have the same signs. Né? So since the numbers in front of x have the same sign, that means I'll start with the plus here. Going forward, whenever I jump a critical value, the numbers, the signs will alternate. Since I started with a plus, I'll have a minus and a plus again. Are we together? However, I'm looking for something that will give me an answer which is less than 0. Less than 0 means negative. Where do I see a negative on my number line? When x is between negative 4 and 5. If you want to write it in interval notation, you can simply say x is an element of -4 and 5. Okay, and then now let's do number 3b, or rather let's do question B. We are supposed to determine the values of p for which the roots of this equation are real and equal. Okay, for the fact that the roots are real and equal, it simply means that delta is equal to 0. Are you together? But for me to use delta, I must know the values of a, b, and c. I cannot know the values of a, b, and c if my equation is not in standard form. Are you together? Okay, so I have an equation like this, and I'm supposed to make sure that it becomes in standard form. I must remove the brackets by multiplying both sides by the x over there. I'll have x squared minus 6x. Whenever I bring the 2p to the other side, I'll have negative 2p is equal to 0. So the value of a is 1, the value of b is negative 6, and the value of c is negative 2p, right? Remember that the roots are real and equal. It simply means that delta is equal to 0, right? But delta is equal to b squared minus 4ac. I just need to substitute the values of b and the value of a and the value of c. Are we together? So this will give me 36 plus 8p is equal to 0. Then 8p is equal to negative 36. I'll divide both sides by 8. I'll simply get negative 9 over 2. So p is just negative 9 over 2. Né? That's how, guys, you should have tackled the question 1. Now let's move to question 2. I'm supposed to solve x if I'm given the following equation. Yeah. The equation simply says I have x plus 3 all raised to the power 1 over 3 is equal to a negative 2. For me to solve x, I must remove that exponent first. How can I do that? I must multiply by the inverse of the exponent on both sides. So the inverse of the exponent is just 3 over 1. Do the same thing here. Multiply by the inverse of the exponent on both sides. I'm doing that so that this exponent over there will cancel one another, and I'll end up having x plus 3 is equal to a negative 8. Therefore, x is simply equals to negative 11. Okay, I'm supposed to solve x and I'm given the logarithms, right? Please note that if you have a situation like this, if you have a situation like log a, log a divided by b, this thing can be written as log a minus log b. Are we together? So in this case, I can simply say I have log x plus 5 all over x base 3. This is equal to 1. Are you together? Whenever I'm solving x, for me to remove the logarithm, I need to have x plus 5 on the left hand side over x, and then this base will become the base on the right hand side. Are you together? So I'll end up having x plus 5 being equal to 3x. Are you together? Whenever I take the x to the other side, I'll have 5 is equal to 2x. Therefore, x is simply 5 over 2. Are we together? Okay, then c, we are told that if w is equal to that, then for which values of x will w be non-real? W will be non-real if and only if what's inside the square root is less than 0. So if 7 minus x is less than 0, then w will be non-real. Are we together? So I'll simply have negative x will be less than negative 7, then x has to be greater than 7. For this thing to be non-real, x must be greater than 7. Are we together? And then now I'm supposed to solve x if w plus 2 is equal to x plus 1. Remember that w is 7 minus x. I have a plus 2. On the right hand side I have x plus 1, right? So I'll simply have 7 minus x is equal to x minus 1. Whenever I take the 2 to the other side, I'm solving x and I have surds. I must remove the surds. In this case, my surd is a square root. That means I must square both sides. I must just square both sides. But before I do that, guys, let me write my restriction here. Okay, for my answer to be real, everything under a square root must be always equal to something which is greater or equal to 0, which simply means that the right hand side must be greater or equal to 0, and the right hand side is just x minus 1. It has to be greater or equal to 0. Are we together? Which simply means my answer should be anything which is greater than 1. Are we together? However, I still need to write my restriction for what's inside the square root. Let me do that in blue. 7 minus x must be greater or equal to 0 as well. Then I'll have negative x is greater or equal to negative 7. Then x is less or equal to positive 7. So therefore, I just need to represent these on my number line. I'll simply have 1 and 7. It says greater or equal to 0. The other one says less or equal to 7. The final solution should be here. So if I don't get an answer which is between which is between 1 and 7, that answer is not applicable. Are you together? Okay, so now let's start solving there. Just square both sides. I will have 7 minus x on the left hand side. On the right hand side, you'll obviously open two brackets and you'll end up having x squared minus 2x plus 1. And then I must make sure that my equation is in standard form. I will have x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. I'm looking for the factors of 6 that when I subtract will give me 1. And those factors are 3 and 2. Obviously, the bigger factor will take the sign of the middle term. So I'll have a minus and a plus there. So x is equal to 3 or x is equal to a negative 2. I know that this one is not applicable. So therefore, x is 3 only. Are you together? If guys you don't wanna take the route of finding the restriction, after solving for x values, just substitute them on the original equation. Are you together? If you find your left hand side to be equal to the right hand side for that x value, therefore that x value is valid. Are you together? But if the left hand side is not equal to the right hand side, that x value is not valid. Are you together? So if you take a 3, substitute there, you'll end up finding that left hand side is equal to the right hand side. But if you take a negative 2, the left hand side will never be equal to the right hand side. That's how, guys, we could have tackled rather the first two questions. Thank you, guys. I hope the videos are helping you. Please, guys, don't forget to like, share as much as we can, and subscribe, guys. Please share to your peers, guys. Just they can learn a thing or two just before they write their final exam. Thank you very much.